a special good morning to our listeners, special good morning to viewers of course, and the listeners of Classic Radio and the viewers of GBN TV. Welcome to today's edition of To The Point. I'm your host, GT. Good morning to those of you via social media platforms. That usual salutation goes out to you. Let me say good morning to my Missing in Action co-host.
Yes.
Back-to-back weeks, no show.
Right.
I mean, I had to just say it in that particular.
That's okay. That's okay.
A no show.
Yeah, man.
I forgive you for the week before. That was understandable.
And last week.
What
happened last week?
You just in the show?
No. That's not. No. No.
I got a message.
Yes, I got a message.
Apparently there was
some mix-up in schedule. There was different mix-up in schedule, but our absence last week, we have to apologize for it, but it was not
on your end.
It was not on.
All right.
Yes.
You're forgiven under those circumstances.
We thank you very much. And I think we listened to you, and it's like, where is McIntyre and Richard?
I say you guys show me in the bush like an old shoes.
We can't do that. We look forward to this program every Monday, actually. So when we're not here, we miss it.
So true. We certainly will miss. I had some folks calling in after and say, hey, what's happened, Mr. Mac? I said, I just didn't see this guy show. Back-to-back weeks. So how's everything going?
Hello, Richard, to answer first.
Pretty good. Father's Day was yesterday.
Yes.
Yeah, happy belated.
Happy belated too. And to all the fathers.
Yes.
And to all the rest of fathers we didn't say.
Again, I must say, Mother's Day coming, you hear Mother's Day concert, sales, and
it's one of the most low-key days there's always been around.
Father's Day.
Actually, somebody told me about Father's Day on Thursday, and I said, well, I heard about pre-Father's Day. I said, when actually is that? They say Sunday. I said, Sunday coming? I said, you see. And then in some cases, they put some things on men and say, but you have to show the appreciation for men and fathers and blow them up a bit too, because they're anchors and pillars.
Yeah. Why men over the years don't put that energy into Father's Day for some reason or the other?
Men
in general.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's men to put the energy.
Yeah.
Guess what?
So we put the energy into the Mother's Day, right?
Yeah. But I think if you put it back, there are a few contexts in which we can put that. I think one is a biblical context, one is a biological context, and the other maybe is a social context. Man was generally created to be the hunter, and women were supposed to be the hunted. Yeah. In other words, man was generated to go after, and you need to be able to find and seek the influence that will cause you to catch your soulmate. So that natural go after, and man definitely would put out all of the niceties to ensure that if you have to catch,
I understand.
You have to put on bait, and you have to put on. So that is the kind of a context, and so women are supposed to be that special, that's supposed to be sought after, and so maybe that could be one of the reasons why a lot of energies are not put in so much by the women towards creating an environment, and men put out. And other people put out to ensure, because when you have a Valentine's Day, it is basically focused around women.
So true.
Technically, and with Mother's Day again, there's a nice hype. I mean, trust me, women, mothers, and so on, they are supposed to be loved because they are special in many ways.
I agree.
But this goes back, in my opinion, to a greater follow that we're having, where because men have been left on their own like boys to an extent, and they are supposed to go out, and when my cock is on the run, your hen must go inside. Little boys were left to be free to be going around, and so the kind of a control mechanism around men seem to have not been there from even the kind of a boyhood, and so you grow up, and then they become the kind of a person that in some cases they have to be there, they have to be the person to walk and bring the stuff and do things, and then you don't give them all of that kind of attention. So it could be systemic in terms of how we have looked at it. From where boys were growing up, you are intended to be there, to be just on the loose, and the girls, you were supposed to really care for them and protect them really nice.
Well, then, if I would say, try to be the little devil advocate for this right now, why have the day if we put all the attention are going to put in for us?
The what?
Why have the day?
Well, we met it, we met it.
Why have the day if a lot not going to be put into it as we put in for everything else?
Yes.
You think about all the other, days that we put out, that day for this, a day for that, but somehow Father's Day seems to get that minimal attention.
And I think
from even us fathers ourselves, we put the attention in it. Yeah, but you never see a mother will say, well, I'm not doing anything today. It's Mother's Day.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
will do this for my mother. I was like checking on that yesterday to a point, you know. How come I hear what he said? Daddy, relax, love you. You never hear that.
The point is not belabored too much, but I think now that we've even seen violence meshed out from men against women, and there have been men advocate and some female advocate have been saying we need to go back and focus on our men. We need to give them kind of attention and ensuring not just our men, but our boys that will become men. That we need to be able to create a different environment, because they are very good men and they are very good boys. They are very, very nice men who have good family settings, and when fathers and mothers they come, they have a really nice time.
So you're saying it could have a little bit of a psychological effect?
Yes,
you know, especially from young boys coming and growing up, realizing they are left to seek on their own to a point. Even though you have the other members of the family around, sometimes it still gets to a point where you have to be on your own.
Yes,
for some reason or the other.
That's absolute.
Where you may find the females of the family always seem to get what they need to a point. Sometimes the boys are left a little unattended. Or you will do that, or we'll do that.
And you know, also there are gifts that are shared around these times for women and men. I think they give mothers, you give gifts and so on. You know, I didn't get a tangible gift yesterday, but when my children called me and expressed, "Daddy, I thank you so much for the way you brought me up. I always modeled you as a young man, and I wanted to be somebody like you." All my children, even my female, my daughter, you know, she posted, you know, how much I mean to her in terms of her growing up, and that to me was the greatest gift I could have gotten. And even people that I father in terms of not biological, but people who look up to me as a father, when they call and say, "Mr. McIntyre, we appreciate you. You're such a good model for men and other people," and so on. That made me feel and gave me, you know, more adrenaline, more enzymes to keep on going and doing the positive thing. I think men should look at those sides and listen to how people view you, how they speak about you, the kind of an impact that you're having on your own family and your own friends around you, how they speak about you in that light, and you tell yourself whether or not you're making the kind of an impact that you're supposed to be making or not.
I agree with you on that. Under those contexts, I agree with you on that. Can you sometimes, I had messages from my daughter, my only daughter that I have. I got a message from my sons, and it felt good.
Nice.
It felt good. You understand? And then, you know, sometimes as we'll say, a brethren will message you and say, "Yeah, happy Father's Day, man."
That's just it.
And you respond, "Hey, man, thank you," whatever. And
thank you.
So that's basically it.
Yes.
But just talking about the whole vision of it.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just low key in terms of how it goes out for men.
I remember years ago,
go ahead. Sorry.
This guy came, Eric Donaldson. And there was a show.
A Father's Day concert.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Those things, man.
I think that would have been pre-Ivan.
Okay.
Put up some big billboards and thing around Father's Day coming for men. You know what I'm saying? Thing around fathers and so on. We appreciate you, we love you, kind of a thing. Men, we have. I remember one church, they took the time out and they gave all the fathers in the church, they give them massage and, you know, those kind of manicure, pedicure kind of stuff. And fathers were like, the eyes are open. We've never had that. To me,
that was good. I mean, it's just the appreciation. The appreciation. That's it. I know as much as we appreciate the mothers, we as fathers we need a lot of attention too.
Yes.
Just a little attention.
A woman need love just like you do.
Yeah.
So a man need love just like a woman.
Folks may misconstrue that, but
they should not. Yes, it's a nice light way of starting off.
Morning. So flowers this morning.
Yeah,
I guess you have bouquets of it this morning to throw.
Yeah, but we have to minimize them because there were so many things coming up. Richard,
let's see those that you want to put to the forefront.
One, traffic. Yesterday.
Was nice.
In Tantine, in Montrouge.
Yeah.
Was
seamless.
Properly organized. I didn't get to go to that part.
The police did a wonderful job.
So you're giving the police some flowers?
Flowers this morning for the police.
Okay. And what about the organizers of the event?
That's another story. But the place, the decor was excellent.
Okay.
All right.
And the event itself was very good.
Right.
Very well organized and executed.
All right.
So I want to give some flowers to the people who are doing our roads. In some cases, you know, they don't always get love. I think the Cliff and the Woodlands Road junction and so on, we beat them up quite a bit. And I'm going to tell you the other side of giving them the flowers, but you can see that they're pushing they're trying, and in my mind, I am seeing a strong effort going in to ensure that when this is finished, it is a finished,
a proper job.
That is a proper product, and you can see stick-to-itiveness in it. You can see innovations and adjustments as they go along, and I want to be able to give them applause for really sticking to it and ensure that they go through that process, meticulously to ensure that you get the best out of it.
I concur. I concur.
Yeah.
The only thing is they're still not utilizing weekends, the Saturday and Sunday. But there's a little less traffic.
Taking my floor or something?
No.
We're breaking up, right?
I get in the floor.
Okay, good.
Just breaking out.
Just been jumping, you take up some of the leaves.
And truly, I'm not impressed with what is supposed to be a roundabout on the cliff.
Well,
that's the other side of your. Okay.
That was the other side of it we were going to speak about, and I think we need to be able to give some effort to our national effort and not be critical negatively in that sense.
Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing, I follow that area kind of almost on a daily basis. I traverse, and I realize there seems to be a lack of prior planning as to exactly what should be executed today.
Okay.
And it seems to do a trial and error to get the right fix.
Because they've been painting and
yes.
painting.
So it seems to they're trying different models. But I think we need to go beyond our trial and errors. Technology and modeling exist for quite a while now.
Yes.
So in other words,
technology could easily solve that problem.
And traffic engineering technology will help you with that. So what you need to do, you understand the scope that you're working with, the expanse of property and lands that you're going with, and the volume of traffic that's going to flow in that area and so on, the direction in which they're all going to come. You put them together in a model. You get a computer, you model it. You get the flow of traffic at a certain amount, certain volume, and so on. You can create the volumes that you want.
Yes.
And then the direction in which you're going to go. And you can get the width, you can get the angles, and you can get the distance in terms of how you're gonna demarcate. And one recommendation, I'm meeting with the traffic people soon, but one recommendation I'm going to make is that the area you can see on the Woodlands roundabout side, that a small piece of concrete is being built, and that is in itself to give a prominent sense of direction.
Yes.
But I don't think it should be prominent that except you're sure about what you want to do, because my recommendation would be all of the lanes that are written in white should be elevated concrete, raised concrete, not at a very high level, and in some cases, a lot of places, it need to be raised.
Yes.
So the same places where you have the white markers, you raise it. So even you're driving at night or otherwise, when your wheel comes in, you know you're out of lane.
Okay.
Technically, I've asked one of my colleagues in Aruba. I keep mentioning them because I've seen that kind of modeling, so that if you happen to veer over left or right a little bit too much, you can feel it rather than just trying to see it.
Understand.
So in those areas, some of those areas, it is going to be too low. That's what they're going to keep. And I think that piece of concrete that you saw, it seems to be a finished something, and it's really too low.
Yeah.
If you're sure about it, it should be higher.
But you think the model is doable here in Grenada?
Yes, it is definitely, because Aruba is a very small island, smaller than Grenada, and the traffic volume. I don't think they don't have more traffic.
They don't have the kind of volume we have.
No, they don't really have it, and so. You try things and they can work. That's what I'm speaking about there. I saw it. We have that process in existence. What we're able to do is to just modify it. So I'm saying that as you're coming into that lane, and the area that leads into, you raise it rather than just paint it.
Okay.
And when you're going around, we have on those roundabouts, you have 2 lanes basically.
Yes.
So the demarcation for both lanes, you raise those markers so that if somebody veer a little bit, you can feel it on your wheel.
All right.
And I think similarly,
raise your level of consciousness.
That's correct. And I think similarly, as we go along our roads, remember we were speaking about corrugated edges.
Yes.
So the corrugated edges and the cat eye edges and so on, with the lights and so on, those are some things that we want to see happening a bit more. And we can even do them as you're approaching roundabouts or other things. You have those corrugated edges and those sections that alert you that things are changing upstream. Because with the volume of things that we have on road, we definitely need to up our game much quicker than we're doing.
Okay, great. Gentlemen, we drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the point. Classic Radio GBN TV. We will be right back.
GBN Massology is back. We're officially on the road to spice up the Carronades 3.0, and it all starts here. Live from GBN Studios every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Streaming across GBN platforms, bringing pure energy, culture, and spice man vibes straight to your screen. Hosted by Charlton, powered by Graphic Sound System, featuring fresh faces and seasoned stars. Massology is what the culture takes center stage. WhatsApp 407-8458 now to secure your spot on Massology. And don't miss the repeat broadcast at 8:30 p.m. This is Massology, the heartbeat of Spice Mass. Don't miss it.
This Emancipation Weekend, freedom takes the sea. The Media Workers Association of Grenada invites you aboard Unscripted, the Freedom Edition, Friday, July 31st. Step into an unforgettable night of music, vibes, culture, and connection aboard the ultimate summer cruise experience. Meet your favorite media personalities, party under the stars, and celebrate freedom the unscripted way aboard the Ecstasy. Boarding is at 7 p.m., sailing at 8 p.m. Dress code freedom chic, bold, stylish, unapologetically you. Tickets are limited and going fast. Get your tickets online at GoToFest and at recognized ticket outlets. Unscripted, the Freedom Edition, because the best stories are the ones you never planned.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3.
Thinking about your new home? Think easy. Think a Republic Bank Home Easy Loan. Think affordable. Think convenience. Think Republic.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3. Republic makes home easy.
Wow, that was such a breeze.
Own your home with ease.
So whether laying that first brick or purchasing an existing home, we've got you covered. Republic Bank will get you those keys hassle-free in no time.
Home is easy as 1, 2, 3.
Apply for a Home Easy Loan today for a chance to win a cash prize. Getting your new home is easy with Republic Bank.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back to our listeners, welcome back viewers, gentlemen, welcome back once again. We have Mr. Sylvan McIntyre with us this morning and also Mr. McPhail with us this morning. Gentlemen, welcome back to the program this morning. Yeah. Our focus conversation this morning, we're talking road safety.
Yes.
Which leads to, the adverse conditions that are out there from time to time, whether it's, a rainy day.
Yeah.
Could be that rainy day could lead to a flooding and so forth, and the conditions out there that sometimes drivers need to pay attention to in terms of the conditions outside. So we're going to focus on that a wee bit this morning, and it's a bit of an extensive way of talking this morning. Yes. There's a lot when we're talking about road safety.
Yes,
and so. I'm going to give you the option of kicking that segment off, Mr. McIntyre, sure. and of course we're going to chime in as we go along.
Right. So thank you. As you intimate that the focus of our discussion this morning, an aspect of road safety, is specific on safety during adverse condition, with specific reference to the rainy or the hurricane season. We understand that this hurricane season came in and it is living up to its expectation technically, where it gives the initiation of the little rain, the cloud bands, the mist and so on going over the Grande Town when you travel there, and a welcome time of the year for farmers, etc. A welcome time for Nawasa and the people that are distributing and harvesting water in different ways as well. So the hurricane season is upon us. But when you have dry season and you have the preceding conditions just as you enter into the rainy season, and when the rainy season, which officially starts 1st of June, lives up to expectation, where you get torrential rain start falling and so on, you do have some adverse effects. You do have some negative conditions that fall out of that. And something spill right into road safety. Because most things that happen on land, sometime in home, it will bring itself or take itself onto the road. And so we have to be mindful of that. Our road traffic situation, when you listen to Sergeant Paul on mornings, you realize that the average of minor accidents happen to be around 6 on a daily basis. And there are times, obviously, it would go a bit higher or a bit lower, but the average lies generally at 6.
That's within the parishes, more or less.
That's across the island. Yes,
Including you did give some individuals, some of the individual parishes.
Yes, you give it but the national average is about 6.
It's about 6. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because the St. George's area sometime, or the Grandlands area, sometimes the average, the South District averages about the most in terms of accidents across. And that is understood, because that's according, when the statistics engineering with traffic movements are concerned, the south of the island appears to be most robust. St. Andrew, the larger parish, quite a number of persons live up there and so on, and the vulnerability exists to an extent, not worse than the West Coast. The West Coast levels of vulnerability, where road traffic and other hazards and accidents are concerned, happen to be the greater in terms of fatalities and so on. And that's understood. The Western Corridor is vulnerable from the stadium all the way up right into St. Patrick.
Yes.
Right up into St. Patrick. That whole coastline, understandably so, that most of it is built on volcanic deposits over the years. So the soils in a lot of areas happen to be unstable, and you have a lot of rocks, molten or otherwise, that were built up over a period of time, boulders that sometimes will loosen themselves, that also impact on road safety. So every aspect of the island, there's a different level of risk or hazard that people are exposed to, and it is really, really critically important. So what has driven us to drive the focus on today in terms of preparing for the road, realize that the rainy season has not taken people by surprise, but a lot of minor accidents happen now to be occurring because people have not prepared themselves sufficiently for the condition. And one condition outside of the ones they don't have control over is the vehicle condition. One, your braking system. Your braking system will apply differently under moist condition as it would under very extreme heat or dry condition. That's your tire as well. And this is why, again, I don't know how the Bureau of Standard monitor and check the quality of tires that we receive in this part of the world. But when we receive tires that are considered to be used tires, are tires that sometimes they are for winter areas and so on, and people going into the summer, they change the winter tires, they would send them into our territory, and they're not suited for our roads. So sometimes the beads on them look higher otherwise, but they're not the type of tires for our part. So even your braking system, as I mentioned, you have to check that out. Your fuel levels in the braking system, you have to always ensure that your check lines at a certain level. And when you recognize it's going, it means that your brake itself is decreasing. So you look for the leak, or the brake pads itself might be decreasing, because the oil that goes all the way into the piston, as the brake burns down, eats down, the fuel goes down as well. So you have to be able to be mindful of that. Those are some simple things that people should check. So you have to be mindful of, now we enter into the rainy season, we're going to get rain a little bit more, my braking system will apply differently. Do I need to get my mechanic, or if I have the knowledge enough, I need to be able to check that. The tires that I am using, some people get away with some, while the police obviously will become a bit more vigilant. And I am not too sure the police need to even create a different kind of a focus on that.
But you said you're hoping that they'll be a little more vigilant to that. I would say you said they won't, but I would say we hope they will be a little more vigilant.
We hope it.
We hope they will be a little more vigilant.
Yes. And it's not about clamping people or locking people up or charging people, but it goes back for a road safety issue. Because when a police stops someone for a seatbelt, it's not just for making a buck out of it, but it's a safety issue. And similar, when one checks on the tire, you're not checking on the tires of somebody because you're supposed to have tire at a certain level. That is true. But what is the disadvantage? A safety factor.
I agree.
The police, they should be equipped with meters as well,
For
the tires.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Be?
Tire meters? You mean for the
beads, the treads?
I don't know if it's a meter. I know they have a gauge.
I once was stopped by a police and they use a pen. I don't know.
Or they use a 10 cents or a coin to put between it.
They use a pen right. You know.
I'm thinking that there should be a piece of equipment available to do.
I know there are certain the vehicles, they do have a certain amount of PSI in terms of the air pressure that should be in vehicles.
Well, yes.
It is an individual thing that people need to check on. I don't think the police have to do that.
Not that.
But the beads and so on the tires, they do have a level at which, I don't know how much in centimeters or otherwise, that they measure from someplace and they would put it against the pen or I know they just use a coin.
I just thought it was a weird way of checking the tire for me by putting your pin and seeing how far your pin went into the bead.
So maybe they have a gauge that they measure against the pin that they don't need to walk with that gauge, or they may have insufficient that will tell you the amount of beads or the depth of it. That should be. Or some of them they look at it from the visual. But we're saying that is one of the factors that contributes to accident. And over the last couple of days and so we saw quite a number of them.
Yes.
And what we've seen, we're going to come to that in a minute. But your tires in particular, they have to be designed on your vehicle and they have to be balanced. So some people have 195/55 and they may have a 190/45 and they may have a 195/40 something.
So
and you have four different tires or two different tires, so the vehicle itself is up. And a lot of people aren't aware of that. To be able to ensure that you have proper traction and balance on the road, your vehicle tires must be of the same size.
Yes.
Basically.
Tire pressure plays an important role in that also.
That's correct, yes.
They might have two big ones in the front, two small in the back, or one small, one big in the back. And,
And that's why we mentioned the numbers. And some people don't even understand what the numbers mean. Those are some things that I think even ladies, sometimes they don't pay attention to that.
Especially the new drivers on the road too, especially the youngsters who may have just obtained license and probably just get themselves a car.
Yes.
Pay minimal attention to these things.
Right. And those are contributing factors to accidents. Now, as simple as the beads are, or those drains and lines that you see run on the tire, they add to the traction of the vehicle to give it some traction to hold. Now, when you have heavy rains, your surface, sometimes you get greater traction on the surface because it washes off some of the overlying silt and other things that are on, including the oil. When you have lighter drizzle, it raises the silt and the sediments that are on the surface of the road, so traction becomes more difficult. So people know when you're driving along the street, your distance, even if they tell you you should stay a minimum of about 30 feet behind a vehicle in driving, or 10 meters, or you should drive at a point where you are able to see the person's number plate and back. Not just the number plate, the back wheels.
You're not forced to see it.
You're not forced to see it. You should be able to see that comfortable. That gives an indication as to your safe driving distance. So your braking distance and your thinking distance becomes relevant when you have adverse condition. Your braking distance would be impacted when you have wet surface. And people have to be mindful of that. The other factor that you want to be mindful of is that there is something called hydroplaning. Hydroplaning refers to when the water that the vehicle is driving on goes through those beads on the tire.
Yes.
Hydroplaning could affect the traction that you have on the road because the water now takes up aspect of that traction between those beads that the vehicle is supposed to be getting on the surface. So driving in water has multiple disadvantages with it. In addition to that, the average vehicle's height is about 8 to 14 inches above ground.
Okay.
You have the trucks and so on that would be a bit more. So if a vehicle goes through water that is about 11 inches and it hits the bottom of the vehicle, in other words the bed, it gives not just an underwash. We're not going to go do it. That is the underwash is not what we're looking for. We're looking for the buoyancy of the vehicle that will occur. So if you're driving with your vehicle and the water is about 8 inches or a little bit more. Give it that way. If you were driving a lower vehicle, once the water is able to hit that on the belly of the vehicle, underneath the vehicle, buoyancy will occur, meaning that your vehicle will become unstable. It could be washed off the road, and it could run off very easy.
Yeah.
So when one approaches water, you have to ensure that you drive at a certain pace, and you want to balance and understand what amount of water, the size of your vehicle, and what the hazards on either side of the road produces. Because if water is at a certain level, you're driving at a smaller vehicle in particular. You have a type of vehicle now that I think they call them the turtle. I don't want to call no vehicle brand name, but they call them the turtles because they're always on the back. They're always on the back on the head. They turn over. So if you're driving those kind of vehicles in adverse condition, you want to be very, very careful. Right. I don't know if one of you want to intimate here before I expand on anything.
No, because I was gonna check with you when you were talking about the buoyancy of the vehicle with the braking. Because you did send someone, was it a year last year? A gentleman came in. I think he was a mechanic.
I brought him.
I was about that time.
Yeah, we actually spoke in relation to that in terms of braking system with the braking,
and the wetness of the road.
Okay, he was saying that folks think it's better to drive on the road, especially in terms of when you're accelerating when it's wet. You may think you will brake, but he was saying that is very dangerous.
That's very dangerous,
especially when the rain just falls.
Exactly, especially when the rain just falls and your braking system is minimized a whole lot.
Yes,
for that
because of that oil.
Because of that
on the surface and so on.
Yes, because because of the tar or something. He said there's an oil between there with the water that can cause you to slide.
Yes,
when you're braking is right. All right, so gentlemen, we drew for a break. Let's take it. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us, folks. To the point, Classic Radio GBN TV. We will be right back. Let's touch it out.
Our people know you.
The Ministry of Agriculture White Potato Production Initiative is an OECS sub-regional project aimed at reducing Grenada's reliance on imported white potatoes, which in 2025 had an imported value of over 4.5 million EC dollars. The White Potato Production Initiative is part of the Ministry of Agriculture's food security drive and is being undertaken with the simultaneous cultivation of other crops such as sweet potatoes, pineapples, coconuts, carrots, and other vegetables. Other OECS countries like Dominica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are already at an advanced stage in white potato production, with Dominica completely cutting the import of white potatoes during the first quarter of 2026. Grenada is now preparing to advance production for better output in 2027. The Ministry of Agriculture, Lands and Forestry, ensuring food and nutrition security for all.
GBN Massology is back. We're officially on the road to spice up the Carnage 3.0. And it all starts here. Live from GBN Studios every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Streaming across GBN platforms, bringing pure energy, culture, and spice man's vibes straight to your screen. Hosted by Charlton, powered by Graphic Sound System, featuring fresh faces and seasoned stars. Massology is what the culture takes center stage. WhatsApp 407-8458 now to secure your spot on Massology. And don't miss the repeat broadcast at 8:30 p.m. This is Massology, the heartbeat of Spice Mass. Don't miss it.
Swing them.
listeners. Welcome back to our viewers once again. It's to the point here on Classic Radio GBN TV. Of course, we talk in road safety this morning. We spent a lot of time in the last segment, and we talk about the adverse conditions out there that can suddenly, hamper your driving experience, and how important it is that you pay attention to, the intricate parts of your car, especially the braking system. Around this time of the year, where the rain is falling, and sometimes you get that mixture, rain and sun.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talk a whole lot about that. I'm not sure the next level that we want to continue on that. Can you? Of course, you did interrupt for, of course, to get our views on the previous segment.
Yes.
I know we want to continue on.
Right. So we're gonna give the other angle in a minute in terms of contributing factors that may not necessarily be the driver's own.
Okay.
But I just think I need to connect this last point or 2 points onto the previous in terms of driver's responsibility. I think out of the first segment that we just had, or the second segment of the program, basically speaking about the adverse condition and driver's responsibility, I think one of the critical take home I want people from this is that if the road surface is wet, your thinking process has to be more sharp, your driving distance has to be further back, and your braking system has to be almost impeccable. In other words, you have to be able to check that out and be alert, especially if you're driving with one of those modern vehicles that we have, where you have this, in some cases, the older model, you may have the ABS systems,
yes,
and you may have the other very sensitive braking system that if you get within a particular distance, it will just shut off on you.
Yeah.
Now, those braking systems also may have the disadvantage, because on the surface it becomes sharp, and you apply on the accelerator, what will happen is that pressure will push the vehicle. Even with the vehicle with the wheel stationary, it will slide it, and it could be one of the factors why we're seeing some of these accidents that are occurring at the back, where people hit others. So the point I'm trying to make as a take home is that during adverse condition, the rainy season condition, you should pull yourself further back in driving. In addition to that, if you do not have the ability to stay so far back because of the volume of traffic on the roads, you would be advised to be a bit more alert to the reaction from the driver ahead of you, and from your action for the driver that's coming behind you. That is critically important. I am sure outside of the distractions that people may have inside of their vehicles, which include gadgets, and I heard the police speaking about that recently, apart from the distraction, those little children in the back seat jumping and so on, and then mommy or daddy still looking around to try, behave on yourself, put on the gadget, and so forth. These little distractions, you want to be able to avoid them.
Yeah.
So the children in the back seat playing the gadget, and you hear something come on that you're not pleased with, and you just flick around your head to tell them, take it off. I don't.
By the time
sometimes it takes a split second where someone to stop. And it goes back to this. We were having an off-air conversation with this, and I heard someone complain about that. That's how it's important to pay attention, especially with these modern vehicles.
Yes.
That have this self-braking system that is implemented in. Because sometimes that vehicle could be self-braking to avoid collision in front and you that close behind.
Yes.
You're still.
You understand what can occur there?
Yes. That's a disadvantage. Yes, they
have that self-braking, so that vehicle might brake sometimes uncontrollable by the driver.
Yes.
Because the vehicle is doing its own thing. Like we say, they have a mind of their own. They're doing their own thing, and you've been very close to that back of that vehicle that is doing that self-braking. A collision could occur.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Maybe your own may not have that particular feature. And sometimes folks tend to want to do that bumper-to-bumper driving.
Yes.
Which is not always advisable, especially in when traffic is at the level that it's at these days.
Yes. One other defensive driving safe technique that often is difficult to apply, but if you are an experienced driver, and experience doesn't come just because of age. Yes. You have to be able to understand certain things about vehicles on the road. A lot of drivers don't understand that if you reach in a situation that pops on you, so for instance, you recognize something is ahead of you that you have to pull brake suddenly, and you apply on you press on the brake, and what's up? Most people do, they hold their foot down on the brake.
You don't get that stop.
You would not get that stop. You need to release very quickly and reapply.
Yeah.
You will get more traction. it is easier said than done because the brain and your body doesn't seem to adapt to that kind of mood very easy. The panic mode steps in and take over your thinking process. So your thing is that, and it happens regrettably with most female, that you see something and you just stick the foot on the brake. And you stick your foot on the brake and the vehicle will run a few more yards or meters more than if you would just release it, and it's going to give you a greater stop. And what's the reason for the release? It's also a hydraulic process where you have the air, you have the fuel, and so on, that gives you time. For instance, check a pump. What a pump does, when you pull a pump up, you push it back down, it gets stiffer. It's a similar process that applies with the braking system, that you hold it down there, the pressure is already gone fully down, it's out.
Yeah.
If you release the brake and reply and return it, you get more pressure, you get more traction.
The other thing with sticking your foot on the brake, right, besides it continuing to go, you might twist. You might turn
because of the angle you may have had,
and that's how you could end up like the turtle.
Yes.
But you know, but the newer model vehicles do have those traction control that sometimes folks tend to disengage. You understand? You know, you see that traction that shows you with your vehicle swaying, where it helps to keep your traction for you. And sometimes folks tend to disengage it, but sometimes the manufacturer do put these things in the vehicle for purposes of those reasons.
Yeah. And I was about to say that folks, there are things in your vehicle, they are there by the manufacturers for a particular reason. And do not just remove it because say that is in Grenada, man. that people and them make it for that other part. They are something for real.
Yes.
They're not applicable to our condition.
Like the driving on the snow.
Right. And the tires for the snow and other things. And like recently we had someone who was speaking about warming up the vehicle before you move.
Yeah. For how many minutes?
For how many minutes or seconds. There are some vehicles where you have the glow plugs, you have the fuel injectors and all these things in a vehicle that you need to start. So with vehicle with what we call it the glow plugs, you turn the ignition on.
The diesel vehicles.
Diesel vehicles have the glow plugs, and so it gives you the couple seconds for it to get into motion before the ignition actually kicks in. And there are most vehicles will have those. You turn the ignition on, but you give it that second. Some people tend to believe that their vehicle, you need to turn it on and keep the engine running
and warm it up.
Yeah, some people do it for 3 to 5 minutes.
Is that necessary?
No, I don't think so.
With most modern vehicles,
and it could be
it is not necessary. Usually it takes 30 seconds to 45 seconds for your oil and stuff to pump through your engine.
Correct.
Right, so you may not need that excessive warm-up. I consider it just burning excessive
fuel.
And especially if you're in an enclosed garage.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know, right, because if your vehicle, if your vehicle there's some fumes and so forth.
Yeah.
Yes.
But most modern vehicles, you don't need to have that excessive.
The warming process is for a different climatic condition.
Yes.
Where you need to ensure the
snow outside is cold.
Yes.
And that's where your type of oil also comes in. So I hope you don't get too distracted in terms of
No. The conversation that we're having is very useful.
Because that's where your type of oil comes in. I'm kind of a bit knowledgeable in relation to that. So
the
that's
viscosity levels?
That's why you see some oil, they say the 1050 and 1030. So the 10 goes for the colder temperature and the whatever goes for the when you get warmer.
Right.
So that's where your oil type comes in there.
Nice.
You understand? So that's where that warm-up process comes in. So your oil will be at that particular grade because it's cold.
Right.
So you get that's where the first set of numbers comes in. So they say 5W40 or 5W30 or whatever.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So that's for that particular reason. But in our climate condition, you don't need the warm-up.
No.
Except you have an old school.
Yeah. Yes.
that has an issue that sometimes, transmission issue and stuff that may need the fluid to get to a certain temperature before it moves.
Yes.
I've seen folks have that issue already. If it doesn't warm up, you ain't gonna move.
Yes.
I sat in a car getting my phone charged, right, in a parking lot. And the vehicle next to me started up. And I turned around because I didn't see anybody pass to go in the vehicle.
Right.
And about 5 minutes after, I saw a guy come in.
He was 1 minute up.
He was 1 minute up.
Yes.
And he didn't park there for An hour or two.
No, and he parked in a big parking lot in Spiceland Mall parking lot. The sun beaming down on you.
Yeah.
You start in your vehicle 5 minutes ahead. Maybe started for the AC.
Folks do it for air conditioning.
For the AC to start.
If you want to
He was driving with his glass down.
Well, he was taking the natural.
You know, we have a little laugh about it, but it is knowledge of the instrument or vehicle thing that you have. It is very useful.
Very.
So we advise persons to ensure that you engage through the instruction manual.
Yeah.
There are something that speak to what you should. And in addition to the instruction manual, there is Mr. Google or Mr. YouTube, certain things that you don't understand.
You go there.
Go up and question it before.
With the way the information is available these days, and you understand, folks should make use of it. You understand? We have our cell phones not only for viewing the gossip of things that are taking place, but if you want to gain some knowledge, especially about your vehicle and other things that are taking place, you can use it for that purpose.
That's correct.
You know?
And the final thing I want to put in here before we accept the callers is the whole aspect of the people who are or could be responsible for contributing to road accidents and the things that can be done that contribute. And we speak about the construction industry.
Yes.
We speak about the debushing, and we speak about the road repair systems and so on. We've seen some road works undertaken, which are noble undertaken, things that we have not done for centuries that we're now doing in terms of pipe lane and other things of that sort. And when you look at some of the actions that are undertaken, you realize that a lot of it could be prevented and done differently. It contributes a lot to the deterioration of the vehicles on the road, and it contributes to accidents. And as I mentioned this year, I would want to appeal to road users to please respect the wardens on the street, not official traffic wardens, but the people who are engaged to help direct traffic where construction work are undertaken. And I also believe that the police could also play a stronger role in ensuring that these things are enforced, because most people, they see some things on the road and say, who you to stop me? They see something say stop here, somebody put up their hand and they driving past because you're not a police.
You're not a police.
There's a particular road where they have a please wait sign, and then folks would bypass it still, and it says please wait. And
but the please wait sign,
I see someone had to have the
with due respect to you,
because
Mr. GT, with due respect to you, the please wait sign does be out of context. A lot of time it is in a place where it is not relevant and nothing is happening. I have heard people speak,
but the one I saw, it wasn't in context, because you could have seen before you there was some work taking place.
Right.
So you probably should have waited until whoever is controlling the traffic tell you, well, it's okay to come.
And the please wait should be coordinated with the persons who have the communication. So there's a point to it. I drove to places where I've seen the please wait on a Sunday or otherwise. No work undertaken, nobody, and it says please wait. And I was like, and then it says, and they say please do not enter. And people driving through back, and people would generate that level of disrespect when you put signs that you're not enforcing.
Yeah.
To be honest, because when you put please wait and there's nobody there to enforce it, you put no entry sign and there's nothing undergoing. People say, well,
I've noticed that. I mean, I'll call you. I noticed that happening in the Bolio area where they're doing that work on the road at the pipe lane. There's a no entry sign on a Sunday morning when nothing is going on.
Right.
You understand?
So should it be more explicit? But
there's nothing.
Single lane. Be cautious.
There's no particular work going on at the time, but there says no entry.
It seems like we're segueing now into another.
Anyway, we're due for a break. Let's take the break. When we come back, we get into the final segment. We just have approximately 12 minutes left on the program. Let's take that break. When we come back, we suddenly get into the calls and of course wrap up. We're coming right back. Stay with us.
For Grenada to realize its true potential, we must all be a part of nation building. From every corner of the world, our sons and daughters carry the spirit of the Spice Isle in their heart.
Before the digital age, before the world moved at the speed of a click, there was a signal connecting a nation. In 1986, a journey in broadcasting began in Grenada, a journey that would grow into a trusted voice across the country. For 40 years, through radio and television, we've been there for the stories that shaped our nation, the news that mattered, the voices that informed us, the moments that brought us together. Your stories, your voices, your moments. The Grenada Broadcasting Network, 40 years strong. One nation, one network.
GBN Massology is back. We're officially on the road to spice up the Carnage 3.0, and it all starts here. Live from GBN Studios every Friday at 1:30 p.m. Streaming across GBN platforms, bringing pure energy, culture, and spice man's vibes straight to your screen. Hosted by Charlton, powered by Graphic Sound System, featuring fresh faces and seasoned stars. Massology is what the culture takes center stage. WhatsApp 407-8458 now to secure your spot on Massology. And don't miss the repeat broadcast at 8:30 p.m. This is Massology, the heartbeat of Spice Mass. Don't miss it.
Got something to share?
Call us at 440-1252.
WhatsApp 405-3052 or 407-8458.
Or email gbnnews@gbn.gd.
GBN News, first, accurate, voted number one.
You've arrived in paradise. You felt the rhythm. Now let's make sure you say it right.
My name is Florian. I'm from the beautiful Aida Perla cruise ship. So today, like we Germans say, we are in Grenada. But I heard in English it's called Grenada. Say it right. Grenada.
Say it right.
Grenada.
That's right. Grenada. There we go. Say it right. It's Grenada. It's not Grenada. It's Grenada. Say it right.
Listeners, welcome back, viewers. Once again, it's To The Point, Classic Radio GBN TV. In this segment, of course, we want to give opportunity to our listeners and viewers. You want to chime in on the conversation with us this morning. You probably have a question you may like to ask or contribute in some way. I beg of you to be brief with it so we could accommodate many callers as possible. Let's go to the phone line. We do have a caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome. Guess we lost that caller there. So once again, let's go back to the phone line. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Great. Good morning, Mr. Telesford.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to the gentleman guest, Mr. McIntyre, Mr. McPhail. You know, Mr. Telesford, I'm here listening, and of course I must indeed say I heard certain things coming from Mr. McIntyre's mouth there relative to, quote-unquote, the physical part of it, vehicle running on a road. Some may be misleading, but that is not what I'm pointing at today. I'm looking at what we have in Grenada in what is, quote-unquote, the subject matter per se, traffic and transport. And we have totally, and have been doing this for ages, disconnecting them both. But they have to work hand in hand. In tandem, they have to work. What is traffic? Traffic is the use of crafts. In the case of vehicles, because we're talking road here, for transportation and movement of people. But that has to work connected in tandem with infrastructure. A comment was made about it, the way they build the roads. The police have no clue of how that is done. And then vehicles get on the road and the police have to supervise them and regulate them. We cannot continue with that disconnect. Transport, two things they move around. They carry people and they carry load, goods and services. All these four words, these 40 words, traffic, transport, transportation, the movement of vehicles, of service and so on, they all work together. We continue to work with them separate. Apart from that, as I end here, we continue to have a police force, the civil police duties dealing with traffic. And it continues for years. I think it is time that we start relooking the issue and separate what is traffic and transport. The Transport Commission, all of that, has to be one unit. Train people, even as far as to analyze and assess accidents. Analyze and assess the status of the road infrastructure, the painting, the designs, the preventative measures and so on. We need to look at this matter seriously, because the chaos that's happening on the road will never stop if it continues as it is. We gain people like can't even read and write, getting license to drive on the road. Imagine that, Mr. McIntyre. They're driving a car that they don't even know anything about the braking system, nothing about it. That is why it's time we relook the matter generally. Just as we have to renew the constitution of this country, we have to relook all that we've been working with from the colonial times. Think about it. Probably we may have to sit and chat one day and so on. I'll give you some ideas, Mr. McIntyre. But keep on trying. I wish you luck. Have a nice day.
I'll definitely take you up.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll take another call and then we wrap up into that. Caller live, good morning. Via WhatsApp.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's hear from you.
Okay, yes. Just want to make some comments on your opening program this morning. The Springs California Road. At Woodlands, I believe that the island they're doing there is really to facilitate the long trucks, because they tend to ride over those things. So I think making it higher might be a bit of a problem. Then the guardrails that they're installing, I do believe that the error was made there, because the rails are of standard manufacture, yes. So what I observe is that the pillars are out of line. So they have to find the cutting and welding. So the integrity of the railing now is compromised. Yes, and on the cliff, the roundabout there, I have some issues with it too, but when you understand, I think they did it in consideration for the Monjalo Road, connecting the Monjalo Road. And I think that is where the challenge is, and just a word for the motorists. The rainy season is here, and the potholes, the repairs are not done properly. So once the rain falls, the holes reappear. So the motorists should be mindful of those things. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, caller. Thank you so much. And that will be the final caller for the morning.
The one just gone?
This one. And yes. So, and if you want to, of course, summarize in terms of the comment from Mr. Rolo and this caller, and then we take a wrap.
No, man, I think the comments from Mr. Rolo and the other caller, I think they're very on point. And I think there's a lot we need to be able to do in terms of considerations for our roads and traffic and transport. We have to be able to really find the science and the collective mechanism to make it better.
Yeah. Anything inclusive from you, sir?
Looking at the time, no. Right. Just to encourage drivers. We made some very salient points this morning, and
the safety issue, adverse condition.
All right. Okay. We always focus on safety on the program, and I show the drivers of Nation Road this morning will adhere to some of the comments we made this morning. The rainy season has started.
Yes,
and make sure that your braking system, you have that check. If you can't do it yourself, get a qualified mechanic to look into it for you. It's all about your safety, and not only your safety, also but the safety of other road users in general.
Absolutely.
So, folks, that's what we're going to take a wrap for today's edition Up to the Point. Thank all who contributed. Have a good day, folks. Join me again tomorrow for another edition. That's what we say goodbye.